There's a guy named Benton McKenzie. He's a 48-year-old man from Iowa who has an aggressive and rare form of cancer. It's cancer of the blood vessels. It's also a terminal form of cancer. So the jig is up soon, man. And it's a sad thing, but it's a fact of reality. And this is what he's going through. So as a result of his severe angiosarcoma, he has rather large skin lesion disfigurations. Okay, and it's very hard to look at, and it gives you an idea of the kind of struggle that he's dealing with on a daily basis. Well, Mackenzie was growing marijuana to treat himself, and you guys see where this is going? You probably already see where this is going. He was caught, and he was arrested, and now he's on trial. So, let's review. We have a guy who has terminal cancer who grew some marijuana to essentially treat himself, to deal with the pain, and he was caught, arrested, and he's on trial. So they didn't use their prosecutorial discretion to say, yeah, let the poor guy go. I mean, he's got terminal cancer. It's proven. The doctors are open about that fact. It's not like he's scamming. No, it's a fact. Okay, they didn't do that. Well, if you think the story is done, and granted, it's already gross and embarrassing, but we haven't even come close to reaching the pinnacle of disgrace yet. So he was wheelchair-bound and in extreme pain at the court proceedings. He looks like he's a guy with terminal cancer because he is a guy with terminal cancer. And he's so sick that in the middle of the trial, he had to be rushed out of the Scott County District Court due to, quote, extreme pain and hallucinations. I still haven't gotten to the 3 worst facts of the case yet. The marijuana he's growing, it's, quote, cannabidiol, or CBD. It is a non-psychoactive compound in cannabis. So, in other words, the weed that he's growing, it's not even to get high. Now, granted, if it was for him to get high, I still would be defending the guy. Because he's a guy with terminal cancer, for fuck's sake. If anybody deserves to get high and relax and ease the pain a little bit, it's a guy with terminal cancer. But he's not even doing it to get high. He's growing the plants in order to extract the oil and rub the oil on his skin lesions to relieve the pain, which is one of the only things he found that actually can help relieve the pain. So, think about this. When it really gets down to brass tacks here, he is essentially on trial for using the equivalent of hemp lotion. Wow. That's a level of stupidity and barbarism I'm not sure I've ever seen. But it still gets worse. Quote, District Judge Henry Latham in May barred Mackenzie from using his condition as a defense for growing marijuana. He's been threatened with jail if he discloses his medical condition in court. He's not even allowed to say, hey guys, look, the reason why I was growing the marijuana is because I have terminal cancer and I extract the oil. It's not to get high, it's to extract the oil to ease my pain. Now, think about how insane this is. That's a fact of reality. That's been proven, okay? That's a fact. That's a fact. That's why he grows the plants, right? But the judge said, I don't care. I don't care. We're not even going to allow you to have an open, free, fair trial where you could say, hey, jury, guys, I'm doing this because I need to do it because I have terminal cancer. It helps me. In other words, the jury is going to have the misconception that, well, this guy's growing pot because he wants to get high, and he's not even allowed to say he's sick. This is called the justice system. I've never seen a situation where they've steered the direction of the court towards injustice. Is there anybody with a brain that says, well, of course you're doing justice in this situation? By taking a guy with terminal cancer who uses the oil extracted from marijuana to relieve pain, putting him in jail and not even allowing him to argue a case. He's not even allowed to use the fact that he has a terminal illness as a defense. So then his legal team was trying to come up with some way to defend themselves, and they brought up this fact. Quote, Governor Terry Branstad, who's a Republican, he signed a law in May that actually legalizes the use of that cannabis oil to treat epilepsy. Okay, so in the state, it is legal to a certain extent to use this oil. So basically what he's asking and what his legal team is asking is, well, doesn't that mean that essentially he's legalized medicinal marijuana, and that can I use that as my argument, my defense? Can I say, well, look, you know, they legalize it in some circumstances for pain, for extreme pain, for epilepsy, for medical marijuana. This is why I'm doing the same thing. Am I allowed to say that in court? The judge said no. It's like they're going out of their way to try to lock this poor guy up. 81% of the people in this state, it's Iowa, right? Yeah, I think it's Iowa. 81% of the people say, yeah, we're in favor of medical marijuana. It's a no-brainer, right? We live in a country where in 2 states, Washington and Colorado, you can smoke recreational weed. Somebody's going to buy recreational weed right now. And I view it the same. It's like alcohol. I mean, it's actually not even as bad for you as alcohol. It's just people being free, doing what they want, putting in their body whatever they want. They're not hurting anybody else, right? And there are other states in the country where you can be a terminal cancer patient who's growing marijuana simply to extract the oil to relieve the pain, not even getting high growing your marijuana plants, using it for a medicinal purpose and only a medicinal purpose, right? And not only are they going to take you to court and try to throw you in jail where you're going to die for sure, right? But they're also saying you're not even allowed to argue that you need it for medicinal uses, and you're not even allowed to argue that, you know, maybe it makes sense to allow me to do this. If this guy is found guilty, I'm going to blow a gasket on air, man. President Obama should immediately pardon him. This is a national disgrace. Everybody involved with this fucking kabuki theater show that's going on here. We are administering justice. This is injustice. This is wrong. This is immoral and unethical. This is unbelievable, man. This is unbelievable. Imagine, let me make the parallel here. Imagine somebody who's a terminal cancer patient who's taking Vicodin or Percocet, which is what a cancer patient would take, that helps relieve pain, right? Imagine that person has some extra pills at their house, a little more than their doctor prescribed them, and they take, you know, one too many every day, right? And then they drag that guy to court because, you're doing too much pain relief. How dare you? We're going to throw you in jail because you wanted to relieve your pain for your cancer. That's what this is like. This is like putting a cancer patient in jail for taking what's prescribed to them, Vicodin or Percocet or whatever kind of opiate. And people will look at that like, what are you talking? Why are you going to lock up this poor guy for what? For what? For what? He needs pain relief, you idiot! He needs pain relief! But when it's marijuana, oh no, that's a special one. That's a special one. We're going to treat you like you're a fucking criminal, like you robbed somebody or killed somebody or did something bad. This is a joke, man. This is a joke.